Hello folks, ready for part 2 of our mad odyssey trying to get to the A2 timing belt, water pump, etc. done. Well, if you haven't checked out part 1, go and check. In fact, there, I'll do it. Yes, it should be over there, shouldn't it? Is that the right way? I think it is. Go and check out part 1, where we just basically removed everything we need to remove, get everything out of the way, and get ready for the main event itself, which is coming up very soon indeed. So that's rather exciting. Yeah, one part I didn't show you. I'll tell you about that at the end. So hang around until the end. I'll tell you about that. Yeah, access is not ideal. I said it was at the beginning, but trust me, it's not. So hang around to see what I did at the end then. Thanks very much for watching part 1. If you enjoyed part 2, or if you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to give us a quick thumbs up on the way past. If you think I've forgotten anything or got anything wrong, then do leave me a comment below. And yeah, and hit the subscribe button and ring that little bell, which helps us out. Thank you very much indeed. Right, on with the show. I'm starting with the second belt, the little belt that joins the two cams together. So get ready, here we go. So I need to tackle this chap now, don't we? And that, I think, is a 13. Can I even get in at it? Yes, it is. That's a 13. Right, I need my tool again. Make sure that these are locked in position before we start playing around with that. Are they locked in position? Yep, they are locked in position. Now, folks, this is where it becomes less exciting. This is where we need to be very careful. Because when this one is loose, then there's no going back. So this tensioner is a funny tensioner, this one. Very strange tensioner. You've got to be very careful how you position it. It hasn't sprung back yet, which is rather weird. Ah, there it is. Now it springs now, you see. So this is a very strange tensioner. And let's have a look. Oh, that's absolutely fine. There's a, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a sort of a lug, and that sits in a hole in the motor and the engine block, and that sort of holds it in. And then you, again, get an Allen key in there, pull that round, and that tensions this. It's on a sort of an eccentre. We change it round. I'm sure we can. Make sure it's in the right position. So that it sits there. It should be down actually. I think this was in the wrong position, folks. Yeah, and anyway, when it's tensioned, you sort of pull that, and that, when that's in the middle, it's properly tensioned. So that's the idea behind that one. Let me show you that on the GoPro. Right, so that tensioner lives in that hole there. We get in there. See here, there. That lug lives in there. There's the tensioner itself. It lives here. And that's what keeps this belt in place. So now we're just going to remove this belt. We've got to make sure we're still locked here. Very important. These must not move now on their own. And this just slips off nicely. He said famously, let me hold this with this hand. I'm left-handed. I need my left hand for this. Let's get it from the bottom as well. It's very tight anyway, this belt. Come on. Off you get. Get the hand in it after all. You need two hands for this really, but here we go. I'm trying to do it with one hand so you can see what's going on. There we are. Off it comes. Get it off from this one. Down here. And out it comes. Ladies and gentlemen, a naked engine. Let's turn this one around and have a look. It's pretty old actually. So it was definitely time to do these belts, and they've been marked, and the marks are all lining up. Good. So whoever marked them before, no problems. Everything's working. And they are in beautifully. Right, let's have a dig. So this kit comes with all the belts you need. So this is the new one. Is that the old one? Yep. That was the old one with writing on it. Does this one have writing on it? Continental. Do not crimp. Nicht knicken, it says in German. So now we need to get it round everything here. This is more difficult than it looks. A lot more difficult than it looks. It's quite tight to get it in around there. There we go. Now then, get it on here as tightly as we can already, making sure it lines up with the teeth as it should. My goodness, that is tight, isn't it? Get it round. Oh yes, that is tight. Right, GoPro just died unfortunately, so it means I can't show you what I managed to do. I managed to get the little belt on finally, and it's actually a lot trickier to do than you might imagine. What I had to do was, this is why we aligned the marks earlier, I had to sort of get a spanner here on this one and just pull it ever so slightly to keep it in line so I could get the belt on. But everything's fine and it's all lined up perfectly. So theoretically that should work. Now what we need to do is tension it, and this is where the fun begins. Getting the new tensioner on there. Let me dig it out. This is the tensioner for the little belt, and it's on a sort of eccentric center, as it were. So what we need to do is make sure that this little chap that we're about to use to tension it, and it's the 6 mm, where's my 6 mm Allen? Allen? It's my dad's name. And there's a 6 mm Allen, and what you do is use, yes, so we can use that to then tighten it. Tension it, in fact. So let's pop that down. It should be at 6 o'clock. Down with that. And now we sort of fit this in here. This is quite difficult to do and see at the same time. So it's all done by feel, unfortunately. And there's only one way it can go, and you've got to sort of press in against. Oh, for heaven's sake. It's quite difficult to do. You've got to get into the right position and press in against. Where is it? Where's that bleeding hole? Almost impossible to find. Almost impossible to find. Right, after much shouting and swearing and generally not getting what I wanted, I finally managed to get this tensioner in. I finally managed to get it on, and I finally managed to get the thing tensioned, and now it's time to torque it up. So it's torqued to 20 Newton meters, which is not a lot, and that is already 20 Newton meters. Hardly had to tighten that at all. And that is the top belt. Thank God for that. Right, now it's just basically a case of putting everything back together. The timing hasn't moved. Everything is still as it should be, which is wonderful. So I suppose it's just a matter of getting everything back in the right position again. So that means getting the water pump, then that stupid bracket in place, and then that's it. Did I show you the old water pump? I think I did. Let me show you again because it's so disgraceful. The old water pump, the bearings just completely gone on that. So no wonder that wasn't doing anything. And the seal is absolutely disgraceful. It's completely gone down at that corner there. So I'm guessing that's where it was leaking. So I thought it had been done relatively recently. Evidently it hadn't been done relatively recently, so I had disappeared there. And yeah, oh here we are, that's not good, that's falling off, so I better be careful there when I put this in. Yeah, the new pump with its nice new shiny seal. There's only one way these go on. Some people would say, oh, why don't you add some grease, why don't you do this, why don't you put some sealant around it? Nope. These pumps are designed to seal just this way and no other, and that's much more sensible. So we're just going to very carefully, let me get this stupid bracket completely out of the way. So what I'm going to do is just lower the pump in, keeping an eye on the seal as I do. Oops, keeping an eye on the seal, he said. Maybe I should get one of the bolts ready, so I can just get this straight in. So just lower it in vertically, slide it into its position. That's rather good. And now we've got this stupid bracket to get back in place. So let's put that back over and immediately put a screw in so we can hold it in place. Pop that in. So finger tight. I like doing things finger tight first because it makes sure you're not going to cross thread anything. That would be terrible. We don't want any cross threading to go on. Can I get my hand down there, or do I have to do this one from underneath? Ah, nope, that's fine. Finger tight. Yep. Going in, no cross threading. That as a nice shiny new water pump. Seal is still in place. Nip that up with my fingers. And then, time to check the torque. I think it's once again 20 Newton meters. Everything's 20 Newton meters, basically. Shouldn't overdo it. So let's just double check it's 20 and then do that. Torque 20 Newton meters. So this is set to 20. Here we go. "20 Newton meters is, of course, not a lot. All right. Can we get this one from here? Oops, yes. Hold it in, and up we go, 20 Newton meters. One more. Yep, there we go. So that's 20. And double check the top one again. Perfect. Right. Right, one new water pump in place. I like it. Now, what I really could do now is fill the system with coolant and make sure it's not leaking. But I trust my new water pump, so I'm not going to do that. Right, now that that's in place, we can put the new idler on. That's much better. The old one was an absolute disgrace. So that sort of fits over the water pump bolt. And then we screw that in by hand. Now these are much tighter. I think these are 50 Newton meters. So I need to go and get the big wrench for this one. Can I get past that with the torque wrench? Yes, I think I can. So just get it in by hand first of all. Let's get the old torque wrench. It's not going to let me, of course, because these guys are in the way, but I can remove that for now. I've still got a fair way to go before it's tight. Okay, here we go. And here we go. Yep, 50 Newton meters. Pop that chap back in. I'll have that in all the time, just in case. Keep it safe. Right, I need that, so I'm just going to pop that over there. Next idler. Quickly clean up that mess down there as well. It's a bit grotty down there. Too much Loctite on everything. Right, so that's that one. Now we have this one. And that feels pretty good. Lots of blue Loctite on that. I think this is also 50. So let's get this one in again. Start it off by hand. This was the 15 millimeter, wasn't it? Honestly. Oh, that's going in rather nicely. Is this 15 or is it 16? What do you reckon, folks? What do you reckon? Is it 15? It is. Now this one might be more difficult to get torqued because it's very close to the cross member here. So I think we're going to need our 15 mil to snug it up first of all, and then we can get the torque wrench in at it, hopefully. My God, there's a lot of Loctite on that. Okay. Don't like overdoing it. Let's get that out, okay? Oh! One of my heads has fallen off. Can I get that in? Just. Okay. Oh, that's 16. I need 15, don't I? Yeah, that's good. 50, right. So, good. That's spinning nicely. That's spinning nicely. That's spinning nicely. That is back in position. Right, we're going to fit the tensioner now, and then we're going to put the belt on. Now, the tensioner is quite clever. You've got to sort of put it on at a certain position. That is actually at the right position. This thing should be at the 10 o'clock position, which it is. 13 mil. Now this gets torqued down to 20 Newton meters when we're done. So I'm just going to use the little one again for this. I've got my little torque wrench. So I can tighten that up with that. So let's get this in finger tight for now. And then it's time to put the belt back in. This is exciting. Back in a minute. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to fit the belt. And it's not difficult. We just got to make sure we get things in the right order. So we want to get the tension the right way. And there's actually a proper list here to get it done. It's saying to start with the water pump. And then go round the tension arm. Like that. Then go round the crankshaft. Sprocket, which it's doing, and then the large idler, which is that one, and then over here, like this. It's not on there properly, so we don't have enough slack. Oh, here we go, got it. Yes. Ah. Ah. Perfect. Wonderful. Nice and in the middle. Right. Now, tension this bloody thing. The belt is on. Let's get the old GoPro and show you this. Right, folks, the belt is on. It's round the main pulley. It's round the water pump. It's round the tensioner. It's round all the things it's supposed to be round. And timing marks have not moved. I just need to make sure it's not too far off the sprocket down at the bottom there. It's not exactly on it. But I will now tension the belt. And we will make sure it's fine. Right, back in a second. I'm going to disappear down below again, and what I need for this is... Oh God. Hold on, let's first of all get rid of all my rubbish. Goodbye. So, what do we need? How many Newton meters? 20. And I need my little 13. Is that going to work from down there? Might need a little 13, hold on. Let's go and get a little 13. Such a shallow bolt. Okay, that's 20 Newton meters. Oh, there's my light underneath it. Right, let's double check that that's pointing in the right direction. That is pointing in exactly the right direction. Timing marks look good. Right, now for the fun bit. Now we rotate the engine. And make sure that it all lines up again. Okay, let's turn the engine twice. And make sure... Hold on, remove these. I've removed all the spark plugs just to make this easier. So let's move this so that they're not sucking around. That's one. That's moving very freely, which is amazing. Oops, and we're off. Moving beautifully freely. That's two. Let's line that up exactly, and then let's make sure that this, okay, that is not good. Head of this thing just fell in the bloody thing. Very professional tools, as you can see, as long as they're working. And that, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Straight in. All right, let's do that again. I would always suggest turning it around at least a couple of times. Also make sure that the belt's, working and fit. Can't see anything. Looking good. Top position. And round we go. Oh, that banged into place. Look at that. Looking good. Where did I put you? There. And yes, perfection. And everything lined up perfectly as it should. Yes, bingo. Am I happy? Oh my God, yes. Time now to put everything back together again. So, the belt is on, the belt is tight. The belt is good. Let's double check the tensioner, that the pointer is in the right position. I can actually feel for it. Pointer is right in the middle. Bingo. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, it worked. So what we have to do now is put everything back together again. So we have here, that's the top one, don't want the top one. We want the bottom one. This is our little bottom cover, which just basically slips on here rather nicely, very easily. It covers everything like that. There are a couple of screws that hold that in place. Where did I put them is a good question. I think they're over here. Here they are, screws for this little chap. And like I say, that just sort of fits rather nicely on there. Right, that's that clipped in on that side. Let's quickly put these two bottom screws in. So that's cleaned up, that looks rather good. Let me show you that. So there you have it. It's all very dark. I'm sorry about that. I need more light, really, don't we? I've got a light there, but it's not doing very much. That's nice and cleaned up. That's ready to go. Good, good, good. Now we'll get the motor mount back on. So now, get this in to position. It's quite difficult to find this. So it gets down past this. Don't want to lose the bolts. Like that. There we go. Right, now, one bolt on the floor, which is probably the first one we should locate. The only one we can see. That feels like it's cross-threading, which it should not be doing. Oh, there we go, that's it. No cross-threading now. Much better. Right, let's get this chap on it. Makes life a little bit easier. Will that fit in there? Yes, that will indeed. Perfect. And then the last one. Oh, nowhere near finished this one. Here we go. Ooh, nice V8. Perfect. Right. So, the motor will of course have moved ever so slightly during the course of our, God, slipped a whole long way. There we go, keep the engine out of the way. So what to do is just get that on to take the weight of the engine, no more than that. Just get them sort of roughly up to, make sure they're not loose. And then the nut on this one. Right, that is good. Now we let go of the motor. Let's torque the buggers up now. Not even vaguely tight. Good torque wrench. Perfect. Right, now then, for the moment of truth. Right, ladies and gentlemen, everything is buttoned up. The V-belt is nice and tight. All the tools have been tidied away. The spark plugs are back in position. I have the key in my hand and I am going to try to start the engine. The only thing I haven't fitted is the top cover to the belts, because I want to watch them, I want to have a look at them while they're doing their thing, and I haven't replaced the intake air pipe yet, because I want to have a good look at everything, make sure it's going. So, for the first time in 5 months, let's see if we can get this little baby started. Excited? I am. Here we go. Right, here we go. The car is still jacked up. Handbrake is on. We're in neutral. Let's let the petrol pump do its thing. Here we go, the first start in 5 months. Ready? And it's running. And it's running quietly. Oh my God. Okay, this is exciting. It's running. It's smooth. It sounds a lot better than it did before. Oh my goodness me, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Sounds absolutely perfect. Now what we're going to do now is let the cooling system, let that sort of pump its way through, let the water pump do what it has to do. I hope you can hear me all right. Let the water pump do what it has to do. Ah, job well done. Right. It worked. Thank God for that. Now the part I didn't show you, I'm very sorry about that, there was a rather abrupt ending, I know. The part I didn't show you was where I changed the accessory belt and its tensioner. Oh my God, that's an absolute pig to do. So yeah, I didn't get around to showing you that. Well, first of all, because there's absolutely no visible access, or practically no visible access, so I couldn't get a camera in there anyway. The bolt that holds in the accessory belt tensioner runs through the engine block. Can you believe that? So you have to get at it from the side, and to do it properly, you technically have to remove the exhaust to get access to it, but thanks to my minuscule hands, I managed to get in there with the tiniest of wrenches and with lots of swearing and cursing and screaming. I got it out, got a new one in, and got the new belt on. So everything is running beautifully smoothly, beautifully quietly, and surprisingly reliably. Fingers crossed it stays that way. That's it, folks. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. More content coming soon, including this machine that I'm sitting in at the moment. I have to introduce it to you. And then, oh my God, there's so much work to do, and it's unbelievable. Mainly just normal sort of maintenance work. But there are a couple of things on there that are going to require some serious engine surgery. But we got it cheap, so that's good. I just hope it works. Catch you later.